Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell. You'll get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And when I'm not asking Bruce, hey, how big was Batista's? Well, you know. One of the things I like to do is help people save money. And if you're watching this video right now and you're in a 30-year loan, man, you're overpaying your single biggest bill and you may not even realize it. I want you to do a little experiment for me. Take your calculator out, multiply your monthly house payment by 360 payments. That's how many payments there are in a 30-year loan. That big scary number, that's your total of payments. You're looking at that number? You know you can do better. Keep more of your own money right now and go to savewithconrad.com. Or maybe you've got credit card debt. Man, it's not a matter of if I can save you money with that. Your average interest rate on a credit card is more than 20%. And by the way, all the interest you pay on those credit cards, it's not tax deductible. Whereas the mortgage interest, well, that is tax deductible. So if you owe this debt, it's up to you how to pay it back. Doesn't it make sense to get the cheapest rate possible and the greatest tax deduction possible? Find out how much money you can save right now for free at savewithconrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. Even scores in the 500s can be approved, and it's no cost out of pocket. But maybe best of all, we're licensed in more than 40 states. We can help more families than ever before. But how much can we save you? Find out right now for free with a quick quote from savewithconrad.com. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing all right. Conrad, how you doing, buddy?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be twins. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. We're all alive. We're all healthy. And we're watching some old school wrestling together. And today, a very special show, one of the more iconic moments in WCW history. Of course, we're talking about when Big Van Vader powerbombed Cactus Jack on the floor on the A show for WCW, which back in 1993 was WCW Saturday Night. Fire up your WWE network to 1993. The date specifically is April 24th. It's 1 hour and 19 minutes. And man, this is, as far as 1993 WCW, one of the best things of the year, huh?
Yeah, it really is. You know, I was just thinking as we're talking about the date and I'm looking about who's all on the show, this may have been the time, close around the time when Orndorff kicked Vader's ass in the backstage area.
That actually didn't happen too terribly far after this. That would happen in 1995.
Okay. Right.
And that would spell the end of Vader. So, but still, we're just probably 7-8 months away from him really putting the wood to Ric Flair at Starrcade 93, one of the more memorable moments of the year. And of course, we remember that wasn't supposed to happen. The original plan was Sid Vicious and Vader, but Arn and a pair of scissors put a stop to that.
Wow.
We're excited to be talking about this episode in particular today. Fire up WCW Saturday Night on the network from April 24th, 1993. What a big show this is. Can't wait to watch it with you. I wasn't at the height of my wrestling fandom. I was sort of easing out by this point, but I was just so fascinated by Vader and Cactus Jack, two of the more compelling characters, not just in WCW, but in all of wrestling in 1993. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would. And I'm trying to think here, in the grand scheme of where I was at this time, this was, am I right, at the end, during the Bill Watts era, maybe, or at the end of the Kid Fry era? It all kind of run together for me, you know, I just, because we were jerked around so much, but yeah, I'm looking forward to going back and reliving this stuff with you, man. I really am.
This would have been after Watts is gone. A rule of thumb is, you always ask yourself, was JR there? Because if JR wasn't there, then Bill Watts wasn't there. Only, Bill's out, and then a month, 6 weeks later, JR's behind him. So either way though, a really, really special show here. I'm excited about this one, and I hope you are too. Fire up your WCW Saturday Night, April 24th, 1993. Without any further ado, let's get our 6-man. Oh man, that makes me sad. Just saying 6-man to you.
What's wrong with 6-man? Oh, okay. Oh, I get you. The belt.
Yeah. This is my Boulevard of Broken Dreams, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of broken dreams, is Lois around?
She's actually on the other side of the bat cave on her knees over here. Aren't you, Lois?
What?
Lois?
Is it your birthday?
No, Lois, you want to give us a countdown from over there? Well, what the hell do you think I want you to count down, like always?
About what? About you guys being a dumbass?
About WCW Saturday Night. Okay, go ahead. Count it aloud. Ready? Go.
3, 2, 1, play.
Okay, well, that was fast, but I'm in there. And here we see Harley Race on the outside of the ring here. Cactus Jack on the apron. Nick Patrick on the inside. Here he comes. Wow. Oh, man. I'm so thankful he didn't do the sunset flip onto the floor, but just doing the dive right into Vader, that's a lot of meat throwing yourself around like that.
The only reason he didn't do sunset flip on the floor was it just so happened to be that the mat was there. Had it been a floor, he would have done on the floor. Now, a count out here is going to be the fact that Cactus Jack beat Vader.
By count out, and look at the crowd.
Yeah. How about that? So, WCW Saturday Night heading. Hey, man.
Come on now. Here they come with all that StarCast cash. Too Cold Scorpio, cooler than the other side of the pillow, way ahead of his time, a high flyer, but had some meat on him, son. He, getting some hugs from the ladies. And by the way, I don't know that me and you've talked about this, but apparently he and Colonel Robert Parker had a lot in common.
Really?
I was told that sometimes at the, there's a specific hotel in Philadelphia, and he apparently, to entertain the owner of ECW back before Paul Heyman bought it, Todd Gordon, he would invite Todd into the room, and he would play jump rope with certain female admirers, and he would chant "Todd is God, Todd as God," as he sort of hit him over the head from across the room.
Oh yeah.
How about these kids breaking it down here?
This is really cool, don't you think?
No, I think it's very cool. This is definitely a time where you're trying to talk a little bit to, wait a minute, look at the smirk on this guy on the left right here. It's Paul Lee. Holy shit. It's the fake Nature Boy. Are you fucking kidding? I had no idea he was there. I was like, man, this slack jawed motherfucker right here looks just like Paul Lee, but a little less douchey. No, he hadn't grown into full douchery yet. I don't know that you saw, but he recently ran for mayor of Ringgold.
Yeah, I saw that. That motherfucker's on this show.
Yeah, Paul Lee is waiting for the hot tag here. I don't know. I guess it would be like a lukewarm tag in his case.
Yeah, and this is Vincent, as not in McMahon. I liked the team of Too Cold Scorpio and Marcus Bagwell. This is before Bagwell became kind of a Paul Lee type guy. But Bagwell had, he was a handsome looking young babyface, wasn't he?
No, he really was. I mean, I think he was rookie of the year. And I mean, I think a lot of people assumed, hey, this guy could be like one of your next breakout stars. I'm not going to compare him to Sting necessarily, but he was the young white meat babyface like a Sting before him. I guess not all that different from Tom Zink, but I think a lot of people assumed this guy had a bigger upside maybe than Tom Zink. And as we know, certainly he did. And here comes, unbelievably, the wannabe mayor of Ringgold, Mr. Paul Lee. By the way, he calls himself the real Nature Boy and says, woo me, don't boo me.
Okay. Good for him. Jesus. Look at him running his mouth. Well, yeah, had a little bit of, vim and vigor here, didn't he? A little bit of, fuck him.
I hear he's a nice guy.
Really?
I don't know a ton about him. I've met him a handful of times. He's always been nice to me. Yeah. But I do see a lot of people fucking with him online, and I guess
Bagwell wasn't going for that shit, was he?
Nope. By the way, he's selling a cruise. I don't know that you've seen that, but you can get on a cruise with Nature Boy Paul Lee.
God, I guess anybody can have a cruise now, couldn't they?
Buff Bagwell also booked on that cruise.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you play your cards right, maybe you can get a little Cowboys 4 Angels, but watch the money bag.
Absolutely. Watch it. Yanks. So here we start out. I think, this is, you're Shuley and Jesse Ventura doing the commentary here.
Let's take a little listen. How should we do that? What do we say when we want to listen?
Track it.
Tony, they're not quite there yet to really and truly compete with a chance to beat the Hollywood Blondes. I don't believe so.
So what are they lacking here, Coach?
A little more experience.
So what do you think of yourself and Jesse Ventura as a broadcast duo?
I like it.
I do too.
I really could work with Jesse quite well. And the reason I could work with Jesse quite well is that we worked at it. You know, JR has mentioned this before, now looking in hindsight, that he really didn't work that well with Jesse because he was always pissed off about how much money Jesse was making.
And what I like about JR is he's a man about it and says, hey, it wasn't good because I was a dickhead and
right.
I was in a bad place. I was rude to him and short to him and not a good coworker because I found out he was making more than me, and that's not his fault.
Right. And I was just the complete opposite. I was so enamored and had so many, I saw Jesse as a star, and right. I felt me working with him helped me and was a step up for me. So I approached him completely. Who the fuck?
That's a great question. That's the Cole twins.
Okay. What
do you remember about the Cole twins?
Absolutely nothing.
Can you believe this is even a thing?
Oh my gosh. Here come the Godwins, or the precursor to the Godwins, Tex Slazenger.
And Shanghai Pierce, baby.
Shanghai Pierce. And who is that in there with them?
Is that Max Payne, Max Muscle?
I don't know who it is. It almost kind of looked like a RVD wannabe.
Yeah. So the Cole twins are Kent Cole and Keith Cole. They're the Cole brothers.
Wow.
The Cole twins.
So anyway, me working with Jesse was cool. And I let him do his stuff, and he appreciated it, and I thought we were a good team.
Track it.
Well, I'll tell you, Schiavone, I've never accused Cactus Jack of being brilliant. I've never accused him of being a brain surgeon. He had a tremendous win last week against Big Van Vader, but I personally think he's let his ego get in the way, coming back this week so quickly to face the world champion again.
I would agree. Cactus Jack right now is making his way towards us. You can hear the fans here and the cheers, the applause for this athlete out of Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, after what we saw last week. Now this man, 27 stitches, broken nose, a concussion. Big Van Vader says, I want you one more time. You don't have to look for me. What's going through your mind about getting back in the ring with Big Van Vader?
When you step in the ring with Big Van Vader, a lot of things go through your mind. It's been a very big week for me. A week of high mountains and low valleys. You understand, the biggest win of my career, but the worst beating of my life. So now you step in the ring again with Big Van Vader, and lots of things are flashing through my mind. The cheers of the fans, it's something new. Something I need to get used to. Fear. Fear's nothing new in my life, you understand? My fear is okay. What I'm gonna do out here may surprise a lot of people. I'm gonna talk about something very un-Cactus Jack-ish. What I'm talking about is my family. People may find it hard to understand, but I got a wife and a little baby boy who think their dad's about the greatest thing in the world. And when I stepped out of that hospital, I saw something in their eyes I'd never seen before. It was fear. It was a look saying, Daddy, don't climb back in the ring with Big Van Vader, because he did this to me. He did this to me. But I've got to, you see, this thing's way above me. It's way above Big Van Vader. It's above anything I've ever taken part in. I've got to do it. But Vader, win, lose, or draw, this is the last time. If you can take me out, if you can put Cactus Jack down, then you do it. You've got my respect. You've got my awe. But I've got something that very few people do. A win over the world champion. So tonight, Big Van Vader, rest assured, as I hold on to the things dearest in my life, I'm telling you, you hold on for the ride of your life. You want to destroy Cactus Jack, understand something and understand it very well. I've been trying to do the same thing for most of my 27 years and couldn't get the job done. Neither will you. Neither will you. Bang, bang.
What a fucking promo, man.
Yeah. On a national level, he was the Cactus Jack at WCW was not like Mankind, was not like Mick Foley, but damn, I like the old Cactus Jack, didn't you?
No, I do too. It just shows you just how talented he was, and he is. But I'm just saying, this is so old here. I mean, this is 27 years ago,
Right.
and he's just clicking on all cylinders. And of course, we know he's going to become much more famous and popular for pulling a sock out of his underwear and shilling Chef Boyardee. But this version of the character, Cactus Jack, was just unbelievable to me. And I love, his tone of voice he would use, and it was just very real. I dug it the most, and I'm glad we're getting to watch it here today.
All right. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I had forgot that Jesse Ventura called Gary Capetta Gary Kapinski.
By the way, how much voiceover work do you think Jesse Ventura would be doing if he wasn't a crackpot?
He was one of the great voices still.
Absolutely. Without question.
He could do cartoons. He could do, he could be a voice talent. And I'm telling you, voice talents make tons of money. Tons of money. It's cash cow. Oh, the Wrecking Crew. Okay, I got it. The Wrecking Crew. One of the members of the Wrecking Crew was the one who helped out Shanghai Pierce and Tex Slazenger there. I remember the Wrecking Crew. Kinda.
I remember the Minnesota Wrecking Crew.
Mm-hmm. Well, this was kind of an Ole Anderson invention here, the Wrecking Crew.
This is the Marietta Wrecking Crew.
Smyrna. Mableton.
Smyrna Wrecking Crew.
Smyrna Wrecking Crew. Well, we've had some, I just go back to that Cactus Jack interview. This was after, and I don't want to take away from Ricky Steamboat here, but this was after our Cactus Jack amnesia.
No. It's leading to that.
Leading to that? Okay.
Yeah. So let me explain.
All right. Thank you.
That we're going to powerbomb him on the floor, and it's supposed to be a way to sort of write him off TV, and he can come back and challenge Vader. And it ultimately pays off at Halloween Havoc in a spin the wheel, make the deal type of.
Remember that one well, because he bled all over us.
But after this, he hits his head, and so that's when he has amnesia. And Meltzer absolutely loved it. He says WCW ran on TV on April 24th what appeared to be its best angle in years, involving Big Van Vader and Cactus Jack, but it largely wasn't an angle at all. It was easily the best television show in at least terms of production since the new regime took over. The return match from the brutal encounter that aired on 4/17 was the highlight. Now, before we keep going here, Tony, I do want to ask, because we are at Center Stage. It's not like you guys in this era are doing the show live. This is sort of pre-internet. And you've often called Center Stage here a shithole. We'll talk about that a little later, but you guys were taping multiple episodes in one sitting. It's not like you do one Saturday night and thanks for coming, folks. So they probably saw the match that we opened up with a recap with on this episode just a few minutes before. He goes back, bandages himself up, talks about going to the hospital last week and his family saying, don't get back in there with Vader. And then he's back out there for this angle, correct?
Yeah, right. I think, if I remember correctly, that we did 2 weeks worth.
Okay. So there might be a chance, but
there could be a chance 2 different days.
It doesn't really matter. Either way, Meltzer was right. It was another very good match, in many ways better than the first, even though Jack was working when logic said he shouldn't. The match wasn't anywhere near the over-the-limit brutality of the first meeting, where Jack suffered numerous facial injuries and a concussion from Vader's punches. Jack, for reasons he himself probably only truly understands, wanted it that way to create a memorable match, and in that way he did succeed, although one questions if the injuries are worth it. The rematch was even more memorable for reasons that make one ask the same questions. After missing a somersault body block on the ring apron, Harley Race pulled off the mats covering the floor, and Vader powerbombed Jack. The drama of this was increased to the nth degree when Vader lifted Jack up for the move, and Tony Schiavone said, if he powerbombs him on the floor, he may kill him. That was supposed to be an angle where Jack would be injured, enabling him to take 4 months off to recuperate from the injuries he'd already suffered and had been working nightly on. As it turned out, even with Vader attempting to protect him on the move, Jack's head apparently hit the floor hard on the powerbomb, and a sickening thud was heard on the landing. Although Jack has taken numerous more spectacular and theoretically more dangerous bumps on the floor with sickening thuds before. Jack was knocked out and lost feeling in various extremities, which resulted in him becoming immobilized and being rushed to the hospital in an ambulance, all of which aired on television. On television, it almost appeared to be a legitimate career-ending or even life-threatening situation. In the building, there was legitimate fear that he had broken his neck. At press time, the nature of Jack's injuries weren't completely known, other than he suffered a severe concussion, which was made even more dangerous by the closeness and time to his previous concussion just 16 days earlier. There were no broken bones. The numbness in his hands hadn't gone away, which could be an indication of nerve damage, which would be the most serious of the injuries, and it could keep him out of the ring for an extended period of time. There's no real way to know of saying when he'll return, but nobody expects, even in the best case scenario, that he would return for at least a month. But barring unforeseen developments based on further examinations by a neurologist, it doesn't appear to be a career-ending situation.
Good God.
So this trip to the hospital is not funny. This is real.
Right. Yeah, it's real. And we always shook our head at him. And it was kind of like, Mick, what are you doing? I've told this story many times. I go back to when we were in Philadelphia, the old Civic Center one time, and we were there earlier, and we were sitting out there. He said, I want to take a bump off of the balcony here, right onto the floor, just straight on the floor. He said, I think when my back hits the concrete, it will make a great sound. And I said, oh yeah, it will. I said, but you're out of your mind. But he did things like that. He pushed the envelope to the tune of, what does it matter that it does to my body? And I've watched on Patreon, I think it was a bonus episode on Patreon, the cage match and the crazy things he did in that.
Yeah.
Against Undertaker. It's just, I don't know. It's just, but it helped build his, the
legend of Cactus
the legend.
Jack.
Absolutely did. Yeah.
We should mention this is taped on April 21st. So 3 days before it airs. Process what we're talking about there. I know this sounds silly, but this airs on a Saturday night, of course.
Right.
So that's the 24th, Friday's the 23rd, Thursday's the 22nd. A Wednesday night, and you're witnessing what could have been a murder. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Murder's reserved for the weekends as a rule of thumb.
Especially in Atlanta.
Oh man. You know what's great? You ever see the Cat Williams stand-up special, his first real one to pop big back in 06?
I've never seen a Cat Williams stand up. Maybe I should.
Oh, go watch it. There's one from 06. It's on Netflix. I think it's called like the Pimp Chronicles or something like that. But he talks about the magic of Atlanta. He said, all of your hopes and dreams can come true in this city, or you can get murdered at a stoplight. Either way. It all happens in Atlanta. And I just thought that was a perfect way to describe the ATL.
Yeah. And I agree with that. And I don't have time for Atlanta at all. And everybody says, you live in Atlanta? I go, nope, Marietta. And their Steamboat rolls up a member of the wrecking crew to get the win.
And by the way, I know it's 2-on-1, but to me, you're a former NWA champion. Hit your fucking finish on that goof.
Yes, absolutely do it.
I mean, if you can't get a clean win over one of these fucking guys, I'm not going to buy that you can go out there and compete with Vader.
Here's a look one more time, and it took a double team, and then the elbow shot that he missed, and Steamboat just rolls him up. That just shows you, Conrad, what a ring technician Ricky Steamboat really is, that he can beat him this way.
You reckon the Cole twins have like a roofing company? Maybe they build decks around Atlanta. What do you think they're doing these days? They
could. The Cole Roofing. We're your deck men.
We love big decks and we cannot lie. Now, you've been telling me that you've got a bigger deck than ever over at the house, right?
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of big old decks, here he comes now. Ravishing Rick Rude. I got to tell you, man, I feel like, I don't know. He's one of the more tragic stories of WCW. Like, he should have been the tippy top guy, and he was certainly in the main events a few times, and he had some memorable feuds with Ric Flair, but I don't feel like he ever had the same momentum here that he did in the WWF. Am I wrong on that?
No, you're right on that. Again, it's almost in the same vein as our missteps with Steve Austin. Now, I know, we could, it's easy to sit back now and do the armchair quarterbacking on what Stone Cold became. But Rick Rude, to me, was a bigger star in the WWE than he was in WCW. And that shouldn't have been, because he had the look and he could work. He had great working punches. He could do a lot. He had a damn good promo. I mean, the stop my music and let me show you what a real man looks like taking off his robe and getting women's reaction. That was all great stuff. And I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was.
You know, what's interesting too is you guys put the big gold belt on him, but at the time it wasn't technically the WCW world title. That was the one that Vader held. And
yeah, it was a bastardized version. Right.
I would have liked to have seen him be the actual top guy. I think he's one of the best heels in the history of wrestling. And man, when you talk about swagger in wrestling, did anybody have it more than Rick Rude?
No. And he had it backstage too.
Like, he is just in real life. You just look at that guy and you're like, oh, he's somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who he is or what he does, but he's somebody, and he just looks like $1 million. And he has, I don't know, this charisma.
His hell of a finishing move.
His face has character. I mean, he looks like he could be a Hollywood actor or a professional athlete.
He's chiseled.
Yeah. He is the original Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And also had kind of a porn star look to boot.
Well, that's the stash. There's a famous photo that's gone viral in the last 10 years or so of him and Vader posing out in front of a Marriott with a handgun. And, it's the Atlanta Marriott. And, when I showed it to Michael Dawkins not too long ago, he replied, if I ran that Marriott, I would frame it and hang it on the wall inside. Just big Van Vader and full of swagger Rick Rude brandishing a pistol. Frame it. Put it
Not only frame it, track it.
Track it.
All right, Jesse, we need to ask, and Jesse and I were talking about this, ravishing Rick Rude. You're looking around here. What are you looking at? What are you looking for? What's going on here?
That's none of your business. You're here to talk about wrestling.
All right, let's talk about wrestling, in particular the U.S. title. On WCW Worldwide Wrestling, the Computerized Contender Challenge happens during the month of May. It was announced this weekend. And it was announced that Kensuke Sasaki, based on the computer, gets a shot at Dustin Rhodes and his U.S. title. What's your reaction to that?
Political rhetoric. It's nothing but a last dire attempt of the WCW officials to prevent the inevitable. But sooner or later, it's going to be put up or shut up time, Dustin. Then you're going to have to back up all the things you've been saying. Then you're going to have to prove if you're man enough to be called United States champion. And me, I'm going to have to prove to you, to the WCW officials, and to all those people who are living to see me die, that it's not going to happen. Not in your lifetime. So I'll be patient, and I'll wait till the match has been signed and we step into the ring. But I will be here next week, Dustin. And if you get into my face in any way, shape, or form, or you say anything out of line, forget about the belt. I'm gonna rip your head off.
Ravishing Rick Rude.
Old school, man.
Yes, sir, buddy. It's looking right into the camera, looking right into your living room and talking about your opponent.
How about
Love it.
Slamboree 93, a Legends reunion? Eric Bischoff here. Track it.
Indeed, to have its roots deeply planted in the rich tradition of professional wrestling. Now, with that in mind, WCW is more than excited to host Slamboree, a Legends reunion. Now, the event will be held at the Omni in Atlanta on Sunday, May 23rd, and that's just part of what is going to be an unforgettable weekend. Now, the day before, fans can attend Slam Meet, an opportunity to meet and greet some of the legends in attendance. And later that night, it's Slam Feast, a once-in-a-lifetime dinner with the legends themselves. It is without a doubt one of the most anticipated events ever in our history. Now, during Slamboree, as well as getting to see many of the legends in attendance, the fans will see the top superstars of WCW in competition. We have two big announcements to make. The WCW World Heavyweight title will be on the line at Slamboree as Big Van Vader defends against a British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. And Barry Windham and Arn Anderson have signed to face each other for Windham's NWA title. Now, just 1 week ago, after an exchange of words, the two came to blows. What a match this should be. But right now, let's go to another legend in this sport, a man who has set the standard for all wrestling announcers, Mr. Gordon Solie.
Well, thank you very much, Eric. You know, it gives me a great sense of pride to be part of this tremendous event. My years in this sport are filled with vivid memories of some of the world's greatest athletes. And on Sunday, May 23rd, many of these legendary competitors will come together once again, bringing back memories and creating some new ones. So far, here on WCW Saturday Night, we have announced 6 men who will be on hand for the Slamboree. We now have 4 more to add to that list. Lord James Blears, quite possibly the most famous wrestler ever from Hawaii. They called him the King of Waikiki. The former Pacific heavyweight champion, after his years in the sport, then became a commentator. Also at Slamboree, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. The 3 times NWA World Champion, won his first title from Harley Race in Tampa in 1979. Went on to become one of the most popular athletes ever. Dusty, oddly enough, began his career as a hated member of the Texas Outlaws with Dick Murdoch. The Masked Assassin, probably the greatest masked man of all times and certainly the most ruthless. And finally, Blackjack Mulligan, the rough Texan from Eagle Pass, was one of the greatest big men ever to enter in pro wrestling. He held many titles and was a dominant force in the U.S. title scene in the 1970s. He and Blackjack Lanza were one of the most feared teams in the AWA during that decade. But as a singles competitor, Mulligan had no equal. The claw was his single favorite hold, but he also had a vicious right-hand punch that knocked out many a man. Now, let's take a look at this big Texan.
Jack, you know, Slaughter's put up that $1,000 challenge for that.
This is the shit you grew up on right here, isn't it?
Oh, this is my wheelhouse, buddy. Rich Landrum, Johnny Weaver talking to Blackjack.
I had dinner with Rich Landrum once and had no fucking idea that I was eating dinner with Rich Landrum because I didn't know who the fuck Rich Landrum was.
Yeah, I never met Rich, to be honest with you, but I did read something about, he said, Schiavone's bitter about the business. And I say, who the fuck is he to say I'm bitter about the business? He doesn't even know me. But Blackjack, man, this is 81, and this is a couple of years after that great angle with he and Flair.
Hat in the robe, baby.
Yeah, but that was, I like the thing with a very handsome Eric Bischoff and Gordon Solie here, don't you?
It's very respectful, and it's in stark contrast to the way the WWF would present something like this. I can appreciate that they're trying to embrace sort of the history of wrestling and the NWA, and it is sort of fun as they run through some of these guys. It's like, I don't know who that is. Not really sure who that is. Oh, Dusty Rhodes, like one of the biggest stars ever. How about Eric Bischoff, man, doing his best here? By the way,
he's really handsome.
He's running the fucking ship right now. I mean, that's what's crazy to think is, you know, with Watts out, he's newly the top guy. How are you feeling about that? You know, this guy comes in behind you and now he's leapfrogging you, and
I'm feeling wonderful about it. He's making me his number 1 announcer, and he's depending on me to do a lot. I feel great. And the pressure of running the business, not on me. I've said that many times. I feel great about it. Interesting that, here comes beautiful Bobby, man. And
Eric fucking Watts.
Eric Watts. All right. So now Bill Watts is out, right? More than likely, Eric's going to do the job here, don't you think?
Well, look at this jacket that Bobby's wearing. Lord bless us. We knew not what we did.
Right out of Boaz, Alabama, buddy.
Look at that haircut that Eric Watts is sporting here.
That's a big mullet.
I'm going to step out and say, if Bad Money Slim was of age in 1993, he would have been rocking a mullet.
He probably would have been.
Bad Money Slim looks like a mullet kind of motherfucker.
Well, you're half right. Let me say this about, I want to ask you a question. Going back to, we just saw Eric's run the company, and we saw Ravishing Rick Rude. Has Eric ever told you the story about Rude's funeral?
That he was asked to leave?
Yeah. Is that true? I had heard that. I didn't know if he ever confirmed that on the 83 Weeks or not with you, or if you ever brought that up to him.
We have talked about it. It was at the end of an episode. And we also recently talked about with Jim Ross how Chris Benoit's family asked him to leave.
Right.
It's remarkable how, so many of the families sort of blame wrestling for the loss of their loved one.
Yeah. And it's a terrible time. I get that, but I didn't know if that was a true story or not. I had heard that, but then again, you hear so much in wrestling, you don't know what to believe.
I'm going to tell you this. If I'm Bobby Eaton and Eric Watts gets on top of me and slaps the back of my head,
yeah,
I'm getting up a little fucking half hot for real.
Bobby never got up half hot. He was never, you got to meet him. He was such a gentle soul.
No, I said if I was him.
Oh yeah.
I'm Bobby Eaton. Goddammit. You're Eric Watts.
Okay.
Motherfucker.
Well, if I'm Eric Watts, when I keep you down and slap me on the back of the head, I'm going to put a knee on the back of your head and crunch your nose down on the mat.
Well, when I get up, I'm going to fuck you up for real because you're Eric Watts.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The key word is win. And you just may not, motherfucker. No. Side headlock takeover.
Bobby Eaton's getting up. By the way, we're getting up because next week, Backlash 2006, Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon take on Shawn Michaels and God.
Can't wait for this. Can't wait for it.
Dude, how about the sandwich effect we've had here? We went one of the all-time great episodes, sort of building hype and intrigue for Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat on World Championship Wrestling. We come back with Mae Young having a hand. Now we're following up with Vader powerbombing Cactus Jack on the floor, and then back to the McMahon's wrestling god.
Well, we do it all. We cover everything here. We cover everything. Nothing leaves our eyes.
Hey, speaking of covering everything, have you been following Whitney Wright on Twitter?
No, I've not.
A lot of activity over there.
Yeah, I would imagine so during these times of being at home.
These difficult times, these challenging times.
Mm-hmm.
She's, yeah, she's tweeting things like, who's going to keep me company tonight? Mm-hmm. I'll be up chatting, sending you nudes, all the usual. And I'm thinking, boy, I text Tony and I don't hear back for 2 or 3 days. And then I just happen to see her feed and I'm starting to put 2 and 2 together.
No, your calculations are off, my good friend. So your calculations are off.
You have not yet spent any time on her social media?
No, I'm not.
So you're just not attracted to her? You don't find her cute or interesting?
No, it's that I have a life going on and I don't want to spend my entire time doing one thing, which is what I would do.
What would that one thing be?
What do you think?
Waka, waka, waka. No, wait, what was your thing? Waka boom.
Waka boom. Yeah, that's what it would be. Waka boom.
Have you seen her little patio?
I understand she had a big patio.
No, it's a little patio, but it's cute.
Okay.
It's a cute little patio. You should go take a look.
You're too.
What?
Oh,
she just
God.
redecorated
No,
it. She changed
I haven't.
some things around.
I haven't. Hey, but I have seen all the great shirts at lowestrules.com.
Oh man, I'm so glad you mentioned that because we've
Thank
got
you.
some really funny ones over there lately. And if you haven't checked it out in a while, you should definitely check it out. We're going to be discontinuing some shirts soon, Tony. I don't know that you're in the loop on that, but right now, you should check it out. It's lowestrules.com. We've got, and I think this is one of my favorites because it's from a bonus episode from adfreeshows.com, which by the way, you would have gotten this show like almost 2 weeks early in ad free if you had already joined adfreeshows.com, but it's Tony Schiavone's meat shop and it's tremendous. We've also got first you get the chicken, then you get the Dickin Whitney protection program. Probably the best shirt we've ever done. Rarely squeezed. Orange Schiavone, hog watching. I'm a weird guy. You a lie. I want that goop. I love ramp. Butch Reed was over in Florida. Hire Mance Warner. So many fun shirts. Go check it out. It's lowestrules.com. We're going to start discontinuing some of these shirts. Some of the old ones you probably want to pick up, like the classic Lowest Rules, Klondike, Flair Hit It First, Damn I'm Good, Bill's Glass Bottom Boat Ride, Low Key Big Hog, Suckers Gots to Know, Cat Bath, hashtag NFLTG, but perhaps the very most popular shirt we've ever sold, Tommy Young.
Nothing like it, man.
All available now at lowestrules.com. How about the STF right in the middle of the fucking ring? Are you kidding?
Bobby's going to tap out? No, my God, he's not. Who is this?
Chris Benoit. Track it.
Back. Stomping away on Eric Watts, and now we got basically a 2-on-1.
Well, I'll tell you what, Eric Watts looked like he had, what is this? What is Arn Anderson doing in there? Arn Anderson saving Eric Watts, punching out beautiful Bobby and Chris Benoit.
Can you believe it?
I can't. That blew me away.
Chris Benoit here to make the save for Bobby, and unbelievably, Arn Anderson makes the save for Eric Watts. I wonder if they cooked up this in a parking lot at a gas station.
Wow. Huh. Okay. Well, there you go. I'm going to talk to Double A, the enforcer Arn Anderson here. So we're going to track that, but look at the hair on Benoit here. Wow.
How about that shirt? Back when guys would wear those color change shirts like that.
Yeah. Tie-dye shit.
It's ridiculous.
Absolutely. It's ridiculous, man. Well, there you go. I didn't expect to see Benoit at all. That completely blew me away. I didn't even know he was with us back then.
Let me just tell you, if I'm in Benoit level shape and I'm doing a run in on Eric Watts and Bobby Eaton, I'm taking my fucking shirt off.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Here comes the enforcer. Track it.
I know on the main event a couple of weeks ago, a lot of bad blood started to build between you and beautiful Bobby, and seemingly that is not over.
Tony Schiavone, 3 months ago, if you told me any of this would be happening, I'd call you a liar. Bobby Eaton, you went your own way. A lot of things are going to be resolved between you and I. Eric Watts showed me one thing. He's got more guts than I thought he did, and he doesn't have to pay for the sins of his father anymore. He's his own man. But one thing I got to tell you, Bobby Eaton, you got a problem with me. We're going to solve it. Maybe I'll have to take a partner, somebody like Eric Watts, since apparently you've got one. Now you're running around with Schlesinger, Shanghai Pierce. Tomorrow night, Shanghai Pierce, you want some of me, you're going to get it. And Barry Windham, the thing that is in my focus, the one thing that is first and foremost on my mind, my friend, is we got a date. And we're not going to hold hands or play kissy face. We got a date, my friend, for that title, and I'm coming for you. Trust me.
It will.
We ain't going to play kissy face. If that ain't an Arn Anderson line, I don't know what is.
He's one of the best. Actually, I was pretty ruggedly handsome there as well.
Dude, you look like your Michael J. Fox's uncle on that Family Ties show. Like I've got some stock tips. Have you looked into the IBM IPO? I think you could pick up some great gains there. Oh man. Speaking of a man's man, here he comes, Mr. Wonderful. Dude, you got like a badass brigade here, with Rick Rude, Arn Anderson, Mr. Wonderful. Jesus.
I know, man. Talent, Benoit. Gee, wow. What you talking about? Talent rich.
Can you imagine if Mr. Wonderful was your dad? God damn it. I told you to cut the fucking grass.
Yes, sir.
I mean, what's interesting though is, we say that, but at the same time, you and him had conversations about, shitting in trees, right?
Yeah, right. And he looked at me, he said, you ever walk? I'll tell you the story again. We were in Orlando, we were having sushi, and I was talking about all the silly shit I did when I was a kid. And he looked at me and he was serious. He said, do you ever climb a tree and take a shit out of a tree just to watch what it'll look like when it fell out the tree? And I went, no. And he didn't admit that he did, but you could tell that he did. But then when I laughed at it, he denied it. So
the badass brigade continues. Here comes Ron Simmons.
Wow.
And as we just saw, Paul, is the television champion here. Hey, if you were going to fuck with somebody, would you fuck with Paul Orndorff, fuck with, Ron Simmons, or just end your own life just as a precaution?
I think the third choice would be the good one. Now, look, if you go back in time right now and say, well, Simmons is a younger man but then again, you go back and you think of that 2 years later that Vader got his ass kicked by Paul Orndorff. So even though Paul Orndorff was the senior of the two men here, Paul Orndorff was very much in the ass kick. I mean, look, any of those old school guys, like Orndorff, like Ole, Gene Anderson, Blackjack Mulligan, with the exception maybe Ric Flair, all those old school guys could really kick your ass.
It's pretty remarkable to see him have such control of the crowd here. This is the early days of hip hop, and you know, hey ho, that shit was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But they loved it.
Orndorff's had enough.
Well, you know, also he just come off a world title run here too, right? So
Yeah, I'm just saying the crowd is so with it. Just, we want to swing our arms with Ron Simmons.
yeah, man.
Let's swing our arms with Ron.
Yeah, and boy, and Orndorff knew how to heel it too, didn't he?
Dude, I just feel like he has permanent daddy voice. You know how whenever sometimes your kids would piss you off and you use a certain tone with them and they knew, oh, dad's fucking serious. I feel like he just walks around with daddy voice.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I do need to bring this up, and I'm probably like a week or two late on this. Did you see that Dean Silverstein passed away?
I did.
Of the Cauliflower Alley Club, one of the real hardworking members. That was heartbreaking to hear that.
Now, I find it interesting. I've always thought his name was Dean Silverstone, but you called him Steen. Is it Steen?
It may be Silverstone.
Okay.
I think it is Silverstone.
Well,
But I just called him Dean.
yeah, I think everybody knew him as Dean, and
Right.
I just, I didn't know that you had a relationship with him. I'll be honest.
Well, we had talked on the phone like one time, and we had texted back and forth and emailed, and it wasn't a buddy thing, but I knew him.
Wait, do you talk to him one time, like when you joined recently?
Yes, I sure did.
So you just talked to him to join, and then weeks later he passes away.
Yeah, it was about a month later he passed away. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of your fault, right?
No, not even close.
Well, let's run through this. Do you think you were the most recent member of the Cauliflower Alley Club?
Yeah, I have a feeling I am.
And then do you think that was like his life's work? Like he just wanted to get you to sign up? And then
No, I don't
once
think
you
it was like
signed
that
up,
at all.
His work was done.
No, I don't think it was like that at all. What I do think though is that you're full of shit, motherfucker.
Wait, what did I do? Here's what I know.
You're trying to connect me to Dean's death, and you shouldn't do that. I started out by really sincerely giving my condolences to his family for his passing, for all the work he's done for the Cauliflower Alley Club, and all of a sudden you wanted me to blame me for his death.
Well, because you were the person who talked to him most recently.
Well, no, maybe not. Maybe Brian Blair talked with him. I don't know. Maybe Paul Orndorff talked to him. I don't know. Maybe Jim Ross talked to him. I don't know. Anyway, back to the match. Boy, you can twist some shit around your.
Why are you upset with me, Tony?
Trying
you
to.
joined. You're a member.
Yes.
Do you need me to let me email Dean and see if I can get your money back?
He's dead.
Oh,
Stop it.
why are you mad at me? What did I do now?
Okay, I've just Paula.
I'm going to tell you now, you better stop that because he may not be in the best health, but he will drive to your house and fuck you up right now.
And he doesn't live that far from me either. So
Chat me up. Why are you so upset with me today? What did I do now?
no, yeah, I'm just having fun here. We have fun on the show. Big crossbody block. Oh my God. Oh, and a 2 count.
Speak for yourself. This shit's not fun.
This is not fun?
No, every week I tune in hoping that I'm going to get more information on my 6-man belt. And every week I hang up just more disappointed than the prior week.
When it comes to that belt, you're one miserable fuck. You know that?
Well, you promised me something and now you're not delivering it.
Yeah, you really are.
Well, why are you fussing, Tony? Do I owe you a 6-man belt?
No.
Are you upset because I owe you a belt?
No.
Because it feels like you owe me a belt and you should shut the fuck up and get in the goddamn attic and get it.
Okay. I'll do my best. Okay.
What do I ask for, really? All I ask is that you deliver on your promises.
Okay. The promise was that if I find it, you can have it.
Oh, Jesus.
That was the promise.
That's okay. I'm going to pull the tape.
Oh, don't pull
Matt Coon, go pull the tape.
Oh, listen, Matt Coon is your fat blow boy. He'll do whatever you say.
Whoa.
And he will, and not only that, he will probably do a dupe tape.
Let me ask you this.
He'll probably edit some words together to make me sound like I said something I really didn't say. He'll do a dupe tape.
You think with all the dumb shit I've made you say on this show, you think I need a dupe tape to make that happen?
Probably not.
No, of course not. I don't need a dupe tape. I do like the way you pronounce that. But let's talk about a real problem that you've got. All right. And I'm really glad that you're.
We're in the midst of a hell of a match here. Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff against Ron Simmons. I think it's TV title here, isn't it?
Who cares?
Okay.
You just called Matt Coon fat.
Did I? You sure?
You said fat blow boy. We're gonna set
that,
aside
again, that's probably on a dupe tape you heard somewhere.
We're gonna set aside the blow boy phrase for a minute. I mean, there's a lot to unpack on that for another episode. But fat, you have recently started to really start body shaming, which is pretty remarkable from somebody who 2 years ago couldn't touch their toes.
Right. Yeah, that's the way it is. Oh, he missed the shoulder block, Conrad. He missed the big shoulder block. Could have won the belt there, but he missed it. Hit his head. Hurting. Where's Paul Orndorff? What? Hey, get the camera shot on Orndorff. Oh, there you go. Came off with the knee. Hey, we're missing a good match here.
All right, I'll let you call it.
No, I'm going to call it. Just talking to you. We're missing a good match here, and you're talking about Matt Coon.
You brought him up.
No, you did.
You said, hey, he's your fat blow boy.
You said, I'm going to have Matt Coon come and pull out the tape and make a dupe tape of you saying something you really didn't say.
By the way, we should mention that before Paul Orndorff was Paul Orndorff is the champ here only since March. So he's only had it for a month and change. And the reason he's got it is because he won a tournament beating Eric Watts.
Yes.
And the show actually airs about a month prior to this, but the reason they needed a tournament is because Scott Steiner was the television champ and he left for the WWF. So Scott Steiner's TV title is now owned by Dave Milliken. Steve Austin would have held it, as would have Ricky Steamboat. And the other one that I think Steve Austin holds or wound up with is the one that Orndorff's sporting here today. Because the Orndorff one here, one's gold and one's like nickel. And that one is the one that was used in a Stuck Mojo video. And they wound up, that, by the way, that's Chris Jericho's old band, which is now Fozzy.
Right.
And they wound up loaning them some belts to use in a shoot and, for a music video or whatever. And then he wound up giving it to Steve Austin.
Huh. Sleeper. Let
me just tell you, this is one of the things I hated about wrestling from this era.
What?
I don't know. Matches? Just the sleeper.
You didn't. Oh yeah. You don't like sleeper, and you don't like
the claw. Is the worst. The claw and the bear hug are the worst. Those are 1 and 2, but number 3 is the sleeper. Don't get me wrong. I do like the sleeper on occasion when it's well done, but when it feels like it's just a forever long spot and it's not a finish, I don't like it as much. But like $1 Million Dream and the way Hulk Hogan would have to Hulk out of it and shit like that, that could be good.
Okay. I got you. I'm with you.
Pee Wee Anderson, where's he in your all-time ref list?
Well, I thought he was one of the better ones. And have you talked to Arn Anderson about him?
No. I mean, yeah, maybe, probably. I don't know.
He and Arn were buddies from Rome, Georgia.
Oh yeah. I knew that. You told me that here.
Right. And then of course, Pee Wee, has since passed away after WCW went down. And I don't know exactly the timeline from when WCW went down to when he died.
Were you the last person to talk to him too?
No, I was not. Can I finish this story?
Sorry.
Okay. And so I was talking to Arn about him, and I think Arn and he ended on bad terms, which kind of always surprised me because I thought they were very close. So
Arn ends on bad terms with a lot of people.
Not me.
I think eventually Arn gets enough of the bullshit and you're just dead to Arn forever. So I better mind my fucking P's and Q's.
You damn right you better do that. Because Arn's not like me. I put up with shit and still like you.
Oh, we know. We've met Lois.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
What?
She's in the room here with me.
Well, great. Get her on mic. Let's do something.
No, she's...
Did you give her one of those shits that drive her up the wall yet? We've been talking about that on the show for a few weeks. I'm wondering when you're going to pull the trigger and send selfies of you going up and down.
No.
I figure it can't be much longer since you got that sweet con money.
No, stop it. Back body. This is hell of a competitive match here.
Cool.
6:45 seconds ago, they're going to go to the time limit draw. Power slam out of 1, 2, no sir. And he goes down, and Ron Simmons is after him. We're going to have a time limit, 10 minute, 15-minute time limit draw.
Hey, let me make a pitch here.
Okay, pitch it.
I think you need some underwear that says Mr. Wonderful on the butt cheeks like that. I think that'd be good.
Where would you get that? Would we have Ryan Barkham make that for us at Pro Wrestling Tees and LowestRules.com?
Without question. But you rocking that as underwear around the house in front of Lois.
But how about instead of on the butt cheek on the package?
Well,
just an idea, you know.
Okay, Tony.
What? Who the hell?
I said okay.
It's Colonel Parker. But damn. And Ron Simmons is going to win it.
Track it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match, the All-American Ron Simmons. But since he did not win in the first 10 minutes, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff is now the World Television Champion.
Swerve. So since he didn't win in the first 10 minutes, Paul Orndorff retains the championship. You've got to beat the TV champ in the first 10 minutes if you want to win the belt. So a nice way to let the fans know that, hey, he could have done it. He just needs another crack at it, and he'll get it done in 10 minutes that time. How about the skivvies that Orndorff's wearing underneath his tights?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that was? Do you think that's Superman underwear?
No, it's probably Daredevil underwear. He was a Daredevil comic book fan.
Wait, Paul Orndorff read like comic books?
Oh yeah.
Oh, goddamn. You just ruined him forever for me.
There's nothing wrong with comic books.
Okay. I just thought he's this fucking badass. Now he's over there whacking off to Aquaman.
As a matter of fact, you know what I would love? I would love a comic book with me with a cape on.
Look at this shit. Scott Norton with a beard, Flash Norton. Dude, Norton should have rocked a beard all the time. This guy looks like,
you're right.
Do you remember the movie, No Holds Barred? Of course you do. Mm-hmm. Look at that. So that's Johnny Gunn, who would go on to be Sal Sincere.
Yes, sir. Salvatore Sincere. Saw Johnny about 2 years ago in Syracuse, or it was in Syracuse. Saw him there, and he came up and talked to me, and he's still looking pretty good.
I feel like Johnny Gunn could have been a porn name.
I think it would have been a good one.
Anyway, Scott Norton looks like he is fresh off the set of No Holds Barred, the movie. And he was a participant in Battle of the Tough Guys.
Wow. That's a pretty stiff lariat.
Your mama's a stiff lariat.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
How is Mama Schiavone doing these days?
She's been dead since 1990.
So about the same.
Yes, exactly the same.
That tickle me sometimes. Dude, Scott Norton, my goodness.
Yeah, man.
There's so many badasses on this show, dude.
Yes.
Orndorff, Ron Simmons, Arn Anderson. We're going to see Vader in a minute. Oh, Rick Rude.
Mm-hmm.
And, your favorite, we got lots of big old schlongs. Colonel Robert Parker, Too Cold Scorpio.
Wow.
It's like Dongapalooza over here.
It is Jump Rope Academy night.
Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should, if we're really going to get Ryan to see if he can make you some Mr. Wonderful underwear. Mm-hmm. Do you think we should get some molds of your ding dong and sell those too?
No, we shouldn't.
Like AdamandEve.com or something like that.
No, we shouldn't.
What if we could get Whitney to use it in the video?
No, we don't need to do that.
That'd be like the best thing ever.
No, here's the deal. Let's just talk about her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And talk about how nice of a young lady she is.
She's great.
And that's about as far as we need to go.
No, but what I'm saying is,
I don't want to get involved in anything else. That's it.
I haven't said anything. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Track it.
Invited to the Legends reunion at Slamboree '93. Some of the greatest competitors to ever step foot in the ring are going to be there. I also have the honor of introducing a couple of more that are going to be there. Black Jack Mulligan, Lord James Blears. Now, I know that Dusty Rhodes was on this program last week, and he's going to be there. And, you know, he's approaching this thing with a very lighthearted and cavalier attitude. Well, Rhodes, I want you to know one thing. I had the list of a lot of people that are going to be there that we feel we still got a score to settle with you. So I want to tell you one thing. Show up with your party face. If you get too close to me during the course of the evening, when you leave there, that party face is going to be turned into a face of pain. And I never forgive, and I don't forget.
It's going to...
How about Jody Hamilton, man?
He could cut a promo, man. And he's going back to the old Florida Championship Wrestling days when he and Dusty had a pretty good run.
By the way, he's billed as being 6'1", 265. He was not 265 in that video.
Wasn't even close to 265.
Dude, look at the stud stable we got right here. The Hollywood Blondes, Brian Pillman, Steve Austin on the way to the ring. God damn, what a loaded roster you guys had here in 1993. It's unbelievable when you really think about it.
Yeah, and we really, it really just goes to show you how mismanaged, not to say anything about Eric, but I'm talking about from the top, how mismanaged WCW was.
Well, Eric didn't know what he was doing yet. You know, Eric got in wrestling in '89 as a C Squad announcer. He wasn't even really getting paid. And he's here for just a couple of years, and then boom, he's on top. So he's bright and he's ambitious, and maybe he's applying some real business sense, but he really left the wrestling to other people and the committees. And maybe that was the issue is he allowed a committee to do it. But my goodness, man, what a tag team this is. It's remarkable how much talent there is. I mean, Chris Benoit doing a run in earlier took you way off guard. And now you see Steve Austin and Brian Pillman, and we're not even to the main event here. Of course, they're working with some independent talent here, some enhancement talent rather. And, Joey Maggs.
Joey Maggs.
By the way, you can see where they have dug out in their, the soles of their wrestling boots, a spot to put those lights, because I think LA Gear was the first shoe company to put lights in shoes that kids would wear. So with every step they took, their shoes would light up. Yeah. Kids absolutely love that. And you see that they're actually trying to put that into their wrestling boots here, which is pretty fucking funny.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're just trying to be hip, and it really didn't come across that well. That's why they had to take a close up of it. But, Pillman and Austin, man, wow. Just great competitors. Joey Maggs, everybody loved Joey. They really did. All the boys liked him. They liked working with him because he worked hard and would sell, but Joey never got that push.
Well, if Joey wanted to push, he should have got a different haircut.
Well, you're right.
Joey's haircut here, where you got the mullet, but no sideburns, that's no bueno.
Yeah.
By the way, your referee here, is that the most Luigi looking motherfucker you ever did see? I feel like his name's Pasquale, and he owns a pizza place that's like an all-you-can-eat buffet in Rainsville, Alabama. And he's just out there hoping one day he'll run into some of the singers from the country music group Alabama.
Yeah, when he make count, he would go, "Una, due, tre," instead of 1, 2, 3.
You know, my little dive bar that I like to go to here in Huntsville back when people were allowed to do things. Was the Boot, where we had one of our get-togethers for the low-key big hogs. And you remember, it's where we put Tommy Rich in an FBI shirt, and he ran around the corner and yelled, "Somebody say something about lasagna."
Yeah, I love the Boot.
Well, they're in trying times right now. They used to be open 6 days a week for lunch and dinner, and they'd stay open until, 10, 11 o'clock. And I enjoyed, just sitting at the bar and eating some wings and drinking and hanging out, and it became a watering hole. But, they have good food too. And well, they're struggling so bad. They're only open 3 days a week right now, only for carry out. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it's 3 to 7. And they're just trying to do whatever they can to make it. And It's not funny, but it is. My friend Lisa, who's one of the owners of the shop, she goes on Facebook and is trying to explain what she has as a special that day, but she is like real legit Italian. And when she's trying to explain what's on the menu, it sounds just like what you just did for the count. And I was like, oh, so he sounds like Lisa counting.
Yeah. We gotta have a fettuccine.
I know you would get it since you too are an Italian.
Yeah. From Italy. Yeah. I'm an Italian from Italy. Let's take a look at the replay once again. Well, we're getting close to the moment we've all been waiting for here.
Man, Steve took care of him on that, did he not?
Yes, he did.
So many stars. This is a really cool episode of WCW Saturday Night. Whoever picked this show out for us to watch deserves a raise.
Well, it would be, wait a minute.
Track it.
His way here around anything that has to do with Hollywood. The World Tag Team Champions, the Hollywood Blondes.
Tony, just when the critics read Hollywood its last rites and began the pilgrimage out to Florida to Universal Studios, the Blondes burst upon the scene, were splashed all over the tabloids. It's got to be one of the most exciting times for old Tinseltown.
Come on, Tony, don't you know who the biggest stars in Hollywood are right now? It's the Blondes. And you don't have to wait on a midnight clear to look up and see all the stars, Tony. You can see them right here.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. Right there, the stars.
You know, Tony, why is it that you're the butt of every joke?
All right, guys, let's talk. Let's talk about the top challengers, the World Tag Team Championship. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Shane Douglas, the former tag team champions.
Challengers? Those two bums can't even coordinate their travel schedule. The family man's out here. His adopted stepson's nowhere to be found. You expect them to have a chance against the team of the 90s?
You make me sick.
Dynasty and tag team wrestling.
Steamboat's out here, Ricky.
You know something, Blonde? It's typical of you guys to make fun of Shane Douglas. That's right. You make fun because he had mechanical problems on a flight and couldn't be here. But let me tell you something. You call yourself the team of the 90s. Well, I've been involved with tag teams from the 70s, from the 80s, and from the 90s. That's right. I've had partners like Dusty Rhodes, Paul Jones, Jay Youngblood, Dustin Rhodes, and now Shane Douglas. That's right. I've been a world tag team champion on 8 different occasions. Count them. So if you're talking about brushing with greatness, you're brushing with it right now. And as far as tag team combination goes, I've probably forgotten more tag team than you two guys will ever know combined.
You realize who he's talking to?
Hey, Pep.
All right, here we go.
I've probably forgotten more tag team than you guys will ever know combined.
Fans into this, man, the Steamboat had great sense of timing. Just look at him, buddy.
Steamboat is doing nothing but double teams today. You know, earlier out here with the Cole twins and now with the Hollywood Blondes, something else, man.
Now, who's going to come to his aid but Shane Douglas, right?
Yep, with a Halliburton, old school, baby. Would have been great if his Dean Douglas outfit fell out.
Do you think that, do they still make Halliburton cases?
Yeah, they do.
Really?
And they're pretty cool. They even made some carbon fiber ones a few years ago that caught on and are very collectible. I've actually got J.J. Dillon's old Halliburton. Oh, here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to track it. The entrance for Cactus Jack.
A super quick match set for one fall with TV time remaining. Introducing first, from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, weighing 303 pounds, Cactus Jack.
Tony, I'm not trying to say this to be funny. I really do believe this might be one of the best hours of WCW TV ever.
Well, talent-wise, can't argue with it, can you?
I'm just saying it was a fun and easy show to get through too. Like, you know, they told some stories. They got some talent over. We had a couple of competitive matches. We started some new angles, and now we're fixing to blow it off with something that's so memorable. Really a phenomenal hour of wrestling. Home run.
Absolutely home run. How about that? That sign. It's pretty cool.
And ladies and gentlemen,
good stuff, buddy.
Track it.
He's from the Rocky Mountains. He weighs 450 pounds. The current WCW World Heavyweight Champion, Big Van Vader.
Doesn't seem to be as irate as he was at the end of the program last week.
Such a cool look. I mean, he looks like a big, giant, menacing bully. And that's because, well, he is.
That's what he was.
And how about in the ring, Cactus Jack, scoop slam on Harley Race.
Here we go, man. The anticipation is tremendous.
Well, because we know what's coming.
Right. Yeah. It makes it even better.
Man, look at that. He's really laying that shit in.
Yeah, of course he is.
Oh,
yeah, you had to with Vader because Vader was going to lay it in.
Vader's not here to fuck around.
He never was.
On a Wednesday night. Oh, that tinsel I know is very distracting for you. You've recently talked about tinsel takes you out of the moment. You hate Christmas tinsel. I
hate Christmas tinsel completely.
Let's get a little shot of the backstage area. And surprisingly, Bischoff is not there in catering.
Oh, and look closely, see if you see a rat, because a lot of rats, the real kind, and centers. Oh, look at this.
2-legged or 4-legged?
4.
Oh. Rats are part of wrestling though.
Yeah.
How about this? Dang.
All right. That was another one.
That was like the low key Friday the 13th noise you just made there.
Really? I never did see Friday the 13th.
You never saw any of the Jason movies?
No, I'm not a horror movie guy.
But you saw all the shit with people flying around in fucking spaceships and spreading their fingers.
Yeah, because that's humanity.
It's make believe.
No, that's where we're going to be in years. Do you know that some of the great inventions that we have are because of what was first introduced on Star Trek?
Hey, do you realize that when you were watching that stupid shit back in 1980, you convinced yourself by 2020 we'd have flying cars, and here we are doing tutorials on how to wash your fucking hands.
Yeah. Well, at least we're healthy.
Yeah. Well, you thought we'd have flying cars. We hadn't figured out we can't eat fucking bats yet.
We got drones. We got Vanguard 1.
Oh man. Look at that elbow. I know there's a pad there, but still, can you imagine the weight on that hip? There's only so much out of alignment that shit can be. BMW can't fix that shit.
Boy, you just don't get over shit, do you? You carry that shit to your grave.
What are you talking about?
6-man belts and Dave Silva driving a BMW.
I didn't even bring up the fact that Dave Silva ruined one of my rims. I also didn't bring up the fact that he uploaded the wrong show on JR's feed recently. Got me 1,400 tweets in an hour for something I don't even have.
But you know what? You better jerk a knot in that feller. You brought him over to Huntsville for a reason, and that's to do the work.
Well, it ain't
not to half-ass it, do the work.
You need to have a talk. You need to have a daddy talk with him.
Okay.
Have a Tony intervention.
Okay. Tony intervention.
Tell him if he don't get his shit together, he's going to be known as Jobber Silva. And as you know, putting Jobber in place of your first name and still using your last name, that's fighting words.
Speaking of fighting, look at this, man. Those forearm shots that Vader used to do, like punches, were legit, man. Oh, we got to take a break on TBS. Now we're back.
I really wish I had a pair of those Cactus Jack boots.
Really?
I think that would be like the coolest Cactus Jack collectible.
Did you ever ask him where he could pick them up?
Nope. I think it'd be the second coolest thing. The first coolest thing would be the ear.
Or the tooth that went through his nose. That'd be a good one too.
Dude, that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And what I would do is I would frame it in a shadow box, and underneath it would be like a little, like a silver plate, and it would say, "Good God Almighty." Here he comes. Oh, right in the ding dong.
Mm.
Vader jumping on your ding dong, probably not the best thing that's ever happened to your ding dong.
No. It's not good.
Oh, by the way, I want to mention before we get too far into the meat of this, meat, Jody Hamilton, your close personal friend from many years ago. Can you believe he's still alive? He's 81 years old.
Yeah, I can believe he's still alive.
It's written.
Joey's too mean to die.
It's on Wikipedia. On January 22nd, 2010, Hamilton settled with WWE out of court. His attorney claimed that WWE fraudulently contrived a reason to end the agreement without giving the 90 days notice that was required in the contract. The suit also claimed that WWE illegally entered the Deep South building in McDonough, Georgia, and took property that belonged to Hamilton. It also claims that WWE Executive Vice President of Talent Relations, John Laurinaitis, warned that any wrestlers who continued to work with Deep South or Hamilton would never work in the wrestling business ever again. Two unnamed professional wrestlers who were under WWE contracts at the time confirmed Hamilton's claims that Laurinaitis made the threatening speech. WWE attempted to get the lawsuit dismissed before it went to trial, but were not successful. The settlement was not disclosed. Well, a big boot from Big Van Vader there. So more evidence that Tony, you might've made the right call, not accepting Bruce's and Stanford's advances to go back to the WWF.
Well, I think in light of what's going on today, I would agree. I would be unemployed right now, I think. Just a thought. And I'm very gainfully employed thanks to you and obviously thanks to Tony Khan.
Well, it's thanks to Tony Khan. I mean, you're doing all right with this podcast money, but that sweet Tony Khan money got you a Ford Explorer. Brand new, fully loaded. I heard you got leather seats in that motherfucker.
Well, yeah.
That's what I heard. I heard you got automatic windows.
Yeah, I do.
I heard you got automatic locks.
How about that?
I heard that some bitch has cruise control.
I'll tell you something else. Okay.
Satellite radio.
Okay. Yeah. And here's something else that Star Trek brought us.
Oh God.
I can start the car sitting in my bedroom. Just punch a button on my phone.
Let me just tell you, General Motors had that 38 years ago. You just click lock 3 times and the motherfucker.
Well, guess what? Star Trek was 50 years ago. So yeah, General Motors got it from them. So there.
So wait a minute. If you pretend to have something, then you innovated it.
Yeah.
Cause you innovated big dicks then, cause you've been pretending to have that for a long time.
Let's get to the match here. Can we please?
I'm trying. You keep talking about fucking stupid ass Star Trek.
Okay. No, here we go. Look at this. The Vader bomb.
Vader bomb. You ever hit Lois with one of those?
No.
A Tony bomb?
No.
Well, it's a good thing because we saw last week, if you do that to a woman, she might accidentally go into labor and give birth to a hand.
That's right. I wouldn't want that to happen at this house. Neither. And also I don't think I can climb up that high.
Besides children, what's the weirdest thing you ever found up in Lois there?
He moved.
Never find a prosthetic in there?
No, but it takes a lot of looking.
Hey, let me mention, I've got a little Tony Schiavone action figure. Maybe I could send that over and y'all could do some fun stuff with it.
Stop yourself.
No, photo shoots.
Did you ever go back and just listen to yourself here?
No, I've never listened to one of our shows ever.
How silly ass you can be.
I'm trying to entertain you, Tony.
Well, you are. Oh, here we go.
Oh man, over the top. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't do it anymore. I've got to track it.
We started on the floor, and I guess it'll end on the floor, Tony. Why would we? Whoa!
Yeah, why would you think anything different, right?
What strength by Cactus. He picks up the 450-pound Vader, slams him on the floor.
Well, security moving the safety rail away. Because you never know what's going to happen here. Bodies are clearing out right here in ringside.
Referee's holding race off.
Oh! He tried his maneuver, his somersault.
And he missed.
Harley has peeled back the mats now after that big bump on the mats. The somersault missed, and now Harley is pointing to the concrete.
A minute.
Race is telling Vader something. That's the concrete, Tony. Race has removed the mats.
If he powerbombs him here, Chesley, he'll kill him. Whoa, no! Oh!
He powerbombed him on the cement, Tony.
He's not moving.
Good God.
He's not going to get up. He can count all day. He's not. Power bombed him on the cement. You see, his eyes are open. This match is over.
We got a major problem here, Tony.
We really do. We have to go to a break. The referee over Cactus Jack fans will be back.
By the way, you know that the shit's serious when you saw Cactus' legs were still crossed.
Mm-hmm. And you could see Randy Anderson's face. It said it all. He looked up like, oh, help us out here. Now, of course, you know, because we've been, it took him a long time to move him, to get that neck brace on and everything, because this was a serious injury. But of course, you know, we were in a commercial break. So
how about that guy had an airbrushed hat that said Mr. Bang Bang on it?
Wow.
I think you need that for your next trip to Panama City, Florida. Especially if you take Lois, because that's going to be your nickname all weekend long. Dude, this is a serious situation here. And I got to tell you, watching the replay back, it doesn't look nearly as brutal as you imagine, but people said the same thing about Dale Earnhardt's crash. It's like, well, we've seen more spectacular crashes, but you never know, like, what's the one that's going to do too much? Like, your body is unpredictable and it shouldn't be put in these situations. And when it happens, nobody can really predict what's too much and where the line is. And it did look like Vader was trying to take care of him, but oof.
Well, again, the head just snapped back.
Right.
I think the brunt of the power bomb hit on the back like it should have, but when that head snapped back, bam, that's where the concussion happened.
This is before we knew really nearly anything like we do right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Before CTE and protocol and all that.
Yeah. We just know so much more now about head trauma. It wasn't even on our radar back then. Not like it is now. This is a serious situation. Let's just lay out for a minute and track it.
Gentleman you see in the black shirt is the trainer that Turner Broadcasting has assigned to help the athletes with their injuries. But there's nothing much he can do right now. They're going to lift him up.
They're going to move him, Tony. I'm going to go give him a hand.
All right, let's see if we can clear away some of these guys here. Fans, I'm sorry to end the program. This one.
Man, look at the look on the fans' faces. And I thought it was a fitting touch that you and Jesse just take the headsets off and say, we're sorry to end the show like this. And there's still several minutes of this, but you're just hearing the guys work on Cactus.
One of the scariest moments that I was ever a part of.
So the plan, as far as you knew, was they were going to stretcher him out, but it went from sort of a worked stretcher job to a shoot one, huh?
Right. Because you can always tell when they take their time. And again, in TV time, it was a 2.5 minute commercial break, but we're talking about fans sitting around about 20 minutes of this stuff.
Right.
So yeah, you knew because of the time that they were taking that this was serious.
And all the boys are out there in street clothes, and you can see the looks on the fans' faces like, hey, this is not part of the show. And by the way, that's Grizzly Smith right there. Jake Roberts' dad.
Yeah, sure is. Grizzly.
Man, what a shot as they're unhooking. Oh, man. See Jesse Ventura helping him into the ambulance here.
Yeah, the fear there was real. I mean, the fear there was that he broke his neck because we had heard that, that sickening thud. And got to give production a lot of credit too. They had some very good shots of the faces of them taking his bag down off the.
It's shot like a movie.
Yeah.
But we know that some of that was supposed to be because it was the plan, but they're not going to down the road to the Marriott to drop him off and do some shots. He's really going to the hospital here.
Yes, he is. He's going to Grady.
The next time we would see him would be the infamous, Lost in Cleveland skits.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty remarkable story that you guys are telling here. A really special edition of WCW Saturday Night. And I, for one, am glad we got to go cover it and relive it. We should remind you that we've covered the payoff when he would come back and face Vader at Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal. Lots of fun stuff available for you in the archives, and stay tuned. We've got more remarkable stuff coming, including some incredible bonus shows that we've got planned, Tony. We should mention our May bonus show at adfreeshows.com is going to be the Boneyard and Firefly Funhouse match from WrestleMania 36. In June, we're going to revisit TNA's Victory Road 2011. That is the infamous Jeff Hardy situation. We've also got some really fun stuff from 1987 from World Championship Wrestling on the July bonus. That'll be when Flair goes on a date with Jimmy Garvin by accident. In August, we'll do the Hardcore Justice, the 2010 pay-per-view from TNA. It's TNA's ECW reunion. Something very, very special in September. I won't spoil. Maybe even more fun in October. I can't spoil. And then Starrcade 86. It's our tradition here. We're going to go ahead and bring that one to you as a bonus show. We'll be doing that one in November. Lots of fun stuff coming your way at adfreeshows.com. And of course, everything we post on adfreeshows.com with Tony will also appear at patreon.com/WHW Monday, which I understand last week you posted a very special little piece of business with you and Lois.
Sure did. And we got some more stuff coming up. Some more special stuff coming up on Patreon as well. That is Patreon.com/WHW Monday. We do a lot of funny things. And for our longtime patrons, I believe that very, very soon, Kilner Zadumas is going to make another return.
Looking forward to that. If you haven't already, throw it in your machine. It's patreon.com/WHW Monday. And don't forget, that is the Patreon where we do the low-key Big Hog get-togethers. And we're still hoping that we can bring that one to you at the end of July. But stay tuned. It's a very fluid situation with everything that's going on in the world, but we hope that this was a fun distraction for you this week. Stay tuned next week, and every week, but next week is really special. We've teased it for what feels like a year. Backlash 2006, the McMahons take on Shawn Michaels and God. And on that note, Tony, it feels like it's about that time.
Thank you very much, Conrad Thompson. The main event this week is Dave Silva, or Jobber Silver, if you will, against Fat Ass Matt Coon. And the two men roll out of the ring. Oh my God, Conrad Thompson runs out of the stands. He pulls back the mat, and Dave Silva he's hoisting up Fat Ass Coon, and he powerbombed him on the concrete. Did you hear that sickening thud? We're going to try to bring we're going to try to bring the rescue squad out. Try to bring the EMTs out, but they're telling us that there's no way they can pick him up. They're going to have to get a crane. Hold on. First of all, the forklift. Fans, we are out of time. We'll see you next week on What Happened When. As always, Wednesdays, we are on Westwood One. Mondays, we're with our fans on
Patreon. That's patreon.com/WHW Monday. Sign up now. You'll be glad you did. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.